So I just saw myself in the viewfinder and I'm super slouched and my shoulders are like hunched. I need a back massage more than like anything in this whole entire world. So yeah, I have really bad posture right now. This is why I should always be standing for these things because now you see my bad habits when I'm sitting. Anyway, today we are doing another round of 10 Days of Thanks. We are doing the October bar. It's Halloween. It's the season of spooky and candy and dark nights and autumn moons and all the things. And so we are going to incorporate that into our soap today, and I will tell you more about all of that incorporation in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudzers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where you make all the soapy things. Yes, I did just rearrange myself because I saw myself in the viewfinder again. Bad posture. And today we're going to be working on the October soap, and this soap is going to be using a vanilla infusion within the soap. So I played around with vanilla. It's another one of those things. There's not a lot you can do. Can you do your own pastes and stuff? Yes, you can. Can you do your own infusions and stuff? Yes, you can. Can you do your own extractions and stuff? Yes, you can. So actually there's kind of a lot that you can do with vanilla. Yeah. But at the end of the day, vanilla is a little bit interesting, and I have some stories about just how interesting it is because of a wholesale account that I work with. And so I'm going to tell you some of those stories while we make this bar. This bar does have two of my favorite scents, like ever, I think, mixed. Pretty sure. Let me see. I did notes. I did notes. So actually, I'm lying. It does not have two of my most favorite. That one's coming tomorrow. So the actual October soap has like vanillin or something. It's a Sierra Candle scent that is a Lush dupe, I believe. And somebody had special requested this from me. And so I went ahead and bought some, and I had some to spare with all of this. And so I thought, why not put it in? Because vanilla, I'm doing the vanilla infusions. It all makes sense. That's like candy. That's fun. And so, yeah. That's what I ultimately did with this. For the actual design itself, again, leaning into the discoloration with this because it does have a higher vanillin content and it does say that it will discolor. So that's what we are going to do while we are working on our spooky colors. So our blacks and our oranges. Now, let's get to the making and we can see, how I fared with all of it. I have to switch hands so I can point. Okay, so we are on to bar 10. We are doing the October bar, which is going to be scented with vanillin, which is a Lush dupe that I got from Sierra Candles because somebody had requested it. And so we are going to be leaning into the change that you can get with the color because of the amount of the vanillin within the actual fragrance oil. But while we are making all of this, I want to talk about vanilla and all the weird stuff that I did with vanilla when I was doing all the tests, back in September/October of 2024. And so, first up, what is vanilla? Vanilla is from like a specific type of orchid, like the vanilla orchid, which I didn't know, which is a really crazy thing. And so, obviously, 3.7 vanillin for that. So, we're going to be again leaning into the darkening of all of that, and it will be black on the bottom, black, orange, and white in the middle. I will be using peach mango sangria for the white portions so we can keep those parts white and not discolor. But anyway, this very specific type of orchid, right? The vanilla orchid, which is called something else like vanilla plant foliage. I don't know. I forget. But anyway, this very specific type of orchid, it's really crazy because when it blooms, right? When it actually flowers, this flower has 1 day. It actually blooms for 1 day. And in that 1 day time period, a very specific bee has to come and pollinate it. And so when they were moving vanilla from, I think Mexico was where it's originated from. Pretty sure that's right. But anyway, when they like moved it to all these other places, trying to get, vanilla crops everywhere because everyone loves the smell of vanilla, everyone loves the taste of vanilla, all the things, they had an impossible time actually getting it to become a vanilla pod from the flower because the flower wasn't like it wouldn't bloom and then present a pod afterwards because there were no bees that could actually pollinate it. Very specific type of bee. And so it was, a big deal. And all these people and these crop people and whatever were trying to figure out a way to actually get the vanilla to bloom and then like be pollinated because they didn't have the bee, right? And eventually somebody figured it out. And it was this kid. He was like a 12-year-old kid. His name was Edmund, and he was an enslaved little boy in on an island in like the Indian Ocean, and I forget the name of the island, not important. Anyway, Edmund. So he had taken like this really thin stick, right? And kind of opened up the leaves of the flower as it was, or the petals of the flower as it was blooming, and then very carefully sort of like took his fingies and mashed the girl part and the boy part of the flower together to pollinate it, right? That's freaking crazy. And then he goes to, the guy that, well, his owner or whatever, and he's like, look what I did, or whatever. And he successfully figured out how to actually cultivate and produce vanilla, the beans, the pods, so we can actually get the paste and the extract and all the things, on his own. And I think that's pretty cool. And, it's Black History Month, and that's a really cool piece of Black history. So this was in like 1840 something, I'm pretty sure. And so he was, again, Edmund Albius. He was given a last name eventually when he was freed, I think within like a decade following that. And I don't think he got credit for actually being the person that figured out how to make the vanilla flowers become pods for a very, very long time. And I think it's a really crazy thing to think about, when we are talking about things like Black history and is this important and all the things. Yeah, it's freaking important. Vanilla, do you have any idea how much I use vanilla in my life? All the time. You know what I mean? And so I think it's a very cool thing to, oh yeah, see the separation there? That's because this particular thing is done with a vanilla infusion into the oils, which we'll talk about in a minute. But anyway, point is, Black History Month is cool, and I don't really give a crap if anybody has like a weird problem with continuing on with Black History Month, because I think it's important to recognize all of the things that all types of people have done for our lives and for to benefit us, And some of them happen to be Black, and that's cool. And that actually makes a lot of sense within this world, like this, the botanical world and the farming world. And why does that make sense? Well, because Black people were freaking enslaved for quite a long time. And so they probably had more to do with the crops and how they all work than, the people that actually owned the land and, them. And so they should definitely be, credited for all of the knowledge that they gave us that allows us to produce vanilla to this day, which, by the way, that's still how it's produced manually. That's crazy. Okay, and on to the pour of all of this, and we are going to be doing a manual pour. Haha, funny. But no, seriously, that's actually still how vanilla becomes like the vanilla pods. People are legit out there in the vanilla fields or whatever, taking them apart with a little stick on the one day it blooms. So crazy labor intensive, right? And then sort of like smashing the girl part and the boy part of the flowers together. Look, I am not a botanist, okay? I don't know the words of all this stuff. That is not my brand of science, but crazy labor intensive. So it makes sense as to why it's so expensive. Now, what are the different types of vanilla that we can use, and what did I use? Well, you can use a vanilla bean pod, like the whole one. And I actually used this to infuse into these oils, the vanilla bean pod, for all of this. Because working with vanilla extracts into my lye solution was a terrible idea, because you get an extract by, steeping it in alcohol. And so adding alcohol to a lye solution can be scary. And it didn't smell like vanilla. All I got was a super, super dark color. And so that sucked. So I did not use extract within my lye solution for this particular one. So I used the vanilla bean pod and I infused it into my oils, and the oils themselves do have a subtle, like, vanilla scent. They do smell of vanilla. I infused them into my olive oil for about 2 months, I want to say. And also ways that I used the vanilla bean pod. As I said, I tried it in the lye solution. It just made a hot, scorchy mess, and it did not smell like vanilla at the end of all of it. So I just got the dark and none of the scent. Now, you can also use vanilla paste, and vanilla paste is going to be kind of rough for the same thing with the lye solution because it's high in ethanol. So essentially, you're grinding up the vanilla pod and, grinding it into a paste, still with alcohols. And I used vodka for everything because, vodka is always around. Well, in my life. Is vodka not around in your life? I don't even drink anymore. But yeah, anyway, so it was kind of rough within the lye solution, but I also included it within the actual soap batter, and I didn't get any smell when it was all said and done. It was just kind of a nothing burger, I think, because of the high pH within the system, as well as, the whole alkaline and, or I'm sorry, I just said that, but also temperature. And so that didn't super work out. And also with the vanilla extract, same thing. It's going to be the alcohol solution, and really all you get at the end of all of it was darkening without any actual scent retention. Now, vanillin is a naturally occurring compound within your vanilla pods, right? We don't use, when we look at like our fragrance oils and whatever, and you see vanillin, you should not assume that that's a naturally, like they extracted that from the vanilla. It's a natural byproduct of actually processing. It's contained within, but they don't do any extraction methods for that. So yeah, our vanillin content within our fragrance oils, that is still synthetically created. So of course keep that in mind. But one of the reasons why it is synthetically created is because it produces a stronger scent to do it that way and actually use the chemical compound and formulate it. And so that's good because all of my experiments within all of this, while the oils themselves are infused with the vanilla pod, I did not find that the soap itself really smelled of anything afterwards. So not even like a faint whiff, And for a soap maker who has a pretty good nose, all of us seem to have pretty sensitive noses within all of this. It's, if there wasn't a faintness of a thing, there's just really not a thing. You know what I mean? And so using the synthetic is going to be the best bet to actually get the vanilla scent throughout all of it. That's not the only thing that you can use vanilla for. Obviously, vanilla has a sugar compound, a sugar amount if you're using, well, either within the alcohols or with the pod itself. And so you do get a slight bubble boost, but it's not really enough to really care about. And so, kind of, what does it matter? You're really just going to be doing it for the scent. Now, with this, I again put the oils within, or I infused into the oils themselves, just kind of for label appeal with all of it to say I did vanilla at the end of all of it. But I wanted to, of course, put in an actual scent so it would smell like candy because it's, the Halloween and all the jazz. And so it should kind of smell like candy. Now, we talked about in the lye solution, putting the vanilla. I did it with the extract, I did it with the pod. And again, it just kind of created a mess. One of the things that I found very interesting was working with vanilla resin. And so this is one of those questions that you get on the forums every once in a while. And it is actually a question that I had to tackle within one of my wholesale accounts because she wanted to do very interesting stuff with vanilla, making it completely natural, including the methods with which you extract it and using it for like this deodorant thing that she was trying to do while it still smelled of vanilla. And we worked with the resin quite a bit, and I want to tell you more about that. Okay, now on to the cut of this gorgeous bar of soap. It is C-popped, it was gelled, and it is shiny. Shiny, shiny. The top of that is super duper shiny, and I don't know if that's... Surely I didn't put it in the freezer. I don't know, but it's definitely got some moisture going on there. So, one of the reasons that it was separating when I was making the soap itself is because there are portions of the vanilla bean pod that aren't water soluble or that aren't oil soluble. But also within the vanilla bean pod, there are apparently portions that are oil soluble. So I find that interesting. And so, yeah, separation kind of occurred, but as you can see, it all got mixed out really easily, became a really beautiful fluid pour, and I'm here for that. This particular bar of soap or loaf of soap, when it's all said and done, very, very shiny, very, very gorgeous. I don't really think that has anything to do with the actual vanilla that's included within, however, because, I don't have any reason to assume that. The sugar levels aren't really high enough, etc. and so forth. Anyway, back to the resin. So I did some weird stuff trying to run some tests with one of my wholesale accounts to see if there's a way that we could keep a deodorant effectively clear and be scented with actual vanilla and it not get weird. And so I played with resin a little bit. Now, resin is kind of it sort of worked because the whole thing with this deodorant is it's an alcohol-based deodorant. And so I was using this as an extract or essentially a portion of their deodorant their deodorant alcohols in order to extract and create this resin. And it is not this is the part of it that's not actually oil soluble, it is water soluble. And it had a really, really good rich scent, which was good. And since it wasn't going into soap, but an actual like alcohol based product, even better. But it did start to darken like you would expect. Like, look at your vanilla extracts. You know what I mean? So they're going to darken over time. And they didn't like that. So it was kind of a bear working with vanilla resin. But anyway, the point of all of that is we get questions on the forums quite a lot. And I also got the same question from this particular wholesale account. And she's like, hey, so can we do vanilla essential oil? And I'm like, well, vanilla essential oil doesn't really exist. It's not a thing. But you also see that question on the forums. And people are, like, well, yes, it does. Look, I bought this thing. It's a whatever. And so ultimately, when I was working with, not for this particular series, but before, when I was working with this for my wholesale account, I kind of had to get to the bottom of it. Like, what is defined as an essential oil? Because if this extract exists, which smells really, really like vanilla, and it's very, very potent, is that not the essential oil? That bar of soap is so pretty, too, by the way. All of my love goes to that. Oh, right. I put glitter and crap in that too. Did you guys see that? That's kind of fun. That's a fun little extra bit of spooky for all of that, for sure. There's also some cool stuff on the bottom of some of these bars where it looks like maybe wolves howling or bats flying and stuff. It's very spooky. It's a gorgeous bar. But anyway, so I was looking at what makes an essential oil an essential oil. And basically, I got to probably not a real vanilla essential oil isn't a real thing because it's not steam distilled or cold press. And I'm thinking that's the actual ticket, right? And that's going to be the difference between a vanilla essential oil versus a an extract or, like an absolute, which also exists. So does vanilla essential oil exist? No, because it can't be steam distilled or cold pressed. And that's what I think the big unifying factor is to determine, is this an essential oil? Does that make sense? Can you think of any other examples of, yeah, that kind of looks like a wolf or something? Can you think of any examples of an essential oil that is not either steam distilled or cold press extracted? I'm thinking that's the definition. And so definitionally, no, there is no vanilla essential oil, but because you do end up getting a concentrated version of the compounds, the aromatic compounds within an extract or your resin or an absolute, it it serves functionally as an essential oil, if that makes sense. Net, I don't know that you should ever actually buy something that says vanilla essential oil on it because that makes me a little, hesitant about the company. But I'm thinking probably technically, no, it's not a thing, but, or definitionally, no, it's not a thing, but technically it is. Same function. I don't know. Let me know. It would be really cool because again, I think there is a case to be made for the vanilla resin and the vanilla absolutes within the vanilla world as being functionally the same as an essential oil, but there might be another qualifying thing, another qualifying factor to determine what is or is not an essential oil outside of steam distillation and or cold press methods, you know? So anyway, let me know. There is my October bar. And yeah, it's super gorgeous. Lots of fun with vanilla. Now we're going to go back to my face so I can talk more about all the things and tell you how much I love you because I really, really do. And I like to tell you. And there it is, the October soap. And my God, stop it. It's beautiful. I know. Thank you. Thank you so much for telling me that. Seriously, I know you're going to in the comments because it's gorgeous. I love this soap. Now, I'm not getting the hang of the layers though. You know what I mean? It's kind of all over the place. There's just a lot of swirling going on. But hey, it swirls because before we've just been like, these are just blobs of color in the middle, you know? This one, lots of beautiful swirls. Really, really gorgeous. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the vanilla talk because it's been a journey. This wholesale account has been very challenging since I picked it up. And it's a lot of fun because they want to do things that are actually impossible most of the time, and I go, let's see, what does impossible actually look like? And sometimes I just do convince them that things are just actually impossible, like trying to get a coconut smell from washing coconut oil. But other times, the things that they're wanting, although they may be a pain in the butt, they end up working. And so that's cool. This particular soap, if you want it, you cannot buy it at soapandclay.com. You can get other stuff there though, but this is not for sale. This is going to be in a set, well, 10 sets for 10 lucky sudsers that are going to be the winners of the 12 months of soap packages, gift sets for the 10 days of thanks. So if you are a membered sudser, go to the community tab and find the post for today. Follow the instructions, do the thing, and keep being awesome. I'm distracted again. There was just a car trying to get past the trees that are being chopped down and then like chipped up in the middle of the road. I thought I was about to see just a disaster. I didn't, though, which is probably good. Anyway, yes, go do the thing. And thank you, Sudsers, for being you, for being here, for participating in 10 Days of Thanks. I really am thankful for all of you. I've already said it like 3 times in a row at this point, and so it might not sound like I am right now, but it's only because I'm starting to freak out like I'm scripted, because I'm filming it all same day, the same tree day. This is the time that I had to do it, okay? I can't help that there's trees treeing outside. But anyway, yeah, thank you for existing. I am out of here for today. Have no idea what day this is going to be going up. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. But I hope you're having an excellent day, whatever day that is. And I will see you guys all again tomorrow because we're going to keep going for another round of 12 months of soap, 10 days of thanks, and always soapy, soapy fun. I have to put this down so I can wave. Bye.